What's up, y'all? This is Rachel Elizabeth. You're watching Real Talk with Rach. I have had such an awesome week, and I hope you have as well. But God, why are these always so hard? I sit down with intentions of doing this grand video or outdoing the last video, and when I put too much thought into it, it ends up coming out so bad. In fact, when I think about the best videos I've done in this series, this Real Talk with Rach series so far, the ones that have been the absolute standout best, I guess in my opinion, or by show of response, those are the videos that I put the least amount of planning into. Like, I didn't have a topic in mind, I just started talking. So that's what I guess I'm doing today. And the funny thing is, I'm talking about, I mean, it just all makes sense. It makes perfect sense because I was gonna do this video this morning and something came up. And it was a good something, but something came up. And then I was about to do it again in a perfect spot, and then the sun changed. And then I was gonna do it somewhere else, and then my roommate was all over the place, so I didn't know where or if it was the best time. It was just one interruption after another. And it made me think, am I interruptible? Now the thing is, yes, we all need to be focused at times, but there are also times when we need to be available. We need to be available to interruptions. We need to be available for family. We need to be available for friends that need us. We need to be available. And really, you can't plan for a lot of those times that people and important matters come up and need you. At least for me personally, and I'm sure some of you can relate, but I like to control things. I like to control a lot of things. I like to control when I do things. I like to control my schedule and my time and when I see people and when I'm working. And just in this season of change, it's gone from me having all the freedom to control all of my time to having a schedule with managers to, I guess there's no better word than submit to that authority, and roommates to be aware of their time schedules and their needs, and living with people just in general after not having a roommate for 10 years. All of these things have interrupted my life as I knew it, and yet they're all great things. There's so much good in all of these things, and I'm learning so much through all of these things. Now, it's not always going to be big changes like that, but a lot of the times I think that we as a people forget that being interruptible is actually a virtue. That is something that is just a really sought after character quality, and that's not to say that you are distractible. I think that is way different than being interruptible. If you're interruptible, you will lay down what you're doing if there's something that comes up that you weren't planning for, and you're not going to be so upset by it that it hurts other people in the process or builds resentment or bitterness or anything like that, but that you are gracious and happy to help, and whatever the thing may be or whoever the person may be and whatever their needs are or whatever's required, you are ready to go and you have a positive attitude, and you know that the things that are meant to be are meant to be, and the things that are supposed to be done will get done, regardless of if your schedule is interrupted in the process or not. Now, the people who are distractible are the ones who can't even focus on a task, which I am guilty of as well at times. But the distractible people are those who can't even focus on a task in order to be in the place to be interrupted. So an interruption for them would be something they're looking forward to, so they don't have to focus and be disciplined in the task at hand. That's different. We're not talking about that. We're talking about people who are so consumed with what they're in the middle of that they are interrupted, and they react one of two ways. One, they react like I just described. They are resentful and bitter of the interrupting or the interrupter. And then the other side, they could react in a positive way where they are willing to help and they know that their things are going to get done and they're not worried about it. And they just set aside what they were doing for however little or however long they need to, and they put others' needs ahead of their own. And I'm gonna be honest, I am not always this person In fact, more often than not, I'm probably this person because I really, really like getting in my zone and focus. And if I'm interrupted, oh man, guys, what just popped into my head was if I'm at the gym with my headphones in and someone asks a question and I have to take my headphones out and I have to be present with them when I was in the zone. And I'm sure some of you watching have been in that same position, but I hate to be interrupted at the gym. And maybe I'm just being, convicted right now of that, but I think that that's a great example. When you are in the middle of working out and someone interrupts you, you have this gut instinct, or at least I do, this gut instinct to just either ignore or react negatively and kind of let them know that they're interrupting you because that's what they did. But in reality, that is so selfish of me when I react like that. That is so, the point here is that's not gonna take away from your workout to give somebody a minute of your time. And how you respond is going to greatly affect how the person that interrupted you sees you, thinks about what you represent, and it might change their entire attitude towards something they thought they were for because you were for it, and now they're like, they're like that? How? That doesn't make sense. I'm not for that thing anymore. Let's say you are an ambassador of a country. You are representing the United States of America and you are going to France. And you go and you are nothing but rude to everyone over there. You are there on your agenda, your time is more valuable than everybody else's, and you make it a point to let everybody know that so that if they come to you with problems, you shut them down immediately and you go about your business because you have a job to do. Whatever you're representing, like your country is gonna look bad. So now all of France thinks the United States is a complete douche. But if you go over there as an ambassador for the United States and you are kind to people and you value their opinions, even if you disagree, and you treat them with respect and you love on them and you give them your time and full attention, man, they're gonna think the entire United States is like that. It's the same thing with us individually. Now, from a Christian perspective, if we represent God, then everything we do is going to affect how people think about God. This leads directly into two things. One, the topic, which is the interruptibility, and two, and they go hand in hand, how people view Christians. It's exactly the same thing. So the ability to be interrupted well, how you respond to being interrupted in the middle of what you're doing, shows one, how you see God and how you trust him, because if you trust God, God is going to work out everything that you're supposed to do in the right timing and everything. There's no need to worry about your stuff getting done. Two, it's going to show people what kind of God your God is. If you react bitterly, resentfully, judgmentally, negatively, it's going to make your God look bad, especially if they know that you're an outspoken believer. So guys, I was on just to give another personal example, because I'm frequently called out on these things. I was on the phone with, man, who hasn't done this, right? That I was on the phone with the electrical company about canceling my service from before I moved. And the bill was much higher than previous months. And so I called to see if there was anything they could do since I moved out the end of the month. And after talking through every option I could think of and hearing the woman out on the phone in every option she could think of, it turned out to be very obvious that she wasn't going to do anything for me to reduce the bill. Before I got off the phone, I responded in a way that I am not proud of, but it made me feel better in the moment. But it could have wrecked her entire day. And what I said was, it might seem like it's not a big deal, but I said something to the tune of, well, thanks for being no help at all, or thanks for nothing, or something like that. I don't remember exactly what I said, but there was bitterness in that tone, and no, she doesn't know who I am, and no, she doesn't know who I represent as a daughter of the king, but if she had, that would make him look bad. So thank God she didn't know. And who knows what she was going through. And I wasn't thinking about her. I was thinking about myself and getting myself a discount on this bill that didn't really matter, because God's got that covered too. So what had happened was I wasn't thinking about this woman on the phone and what she was going through and how her day was going and making her day better. I was thinking about expecting her to make me feel better. This all ties into whether or not we're able to be interruptible, because what shows through in those moments, even though she didn't interrupt me, she got to witness how I respond in situations like that. Now, how that relates to being interruptible is that if you are interrupted, you are caught off guard. You have no time to prepare and your true colors show. Now, do you want those true colors to represent you well and your God well? It could even be if you don't even believe in God. That represents you. That will represent your family. That will represent your friends, and how you respond to people in those moments of caught off guard interruption is how people will see you, your family, your friends, etc. So to wrap this up, I kind of have a challenge for you to be very intentional about taking a moment when you're interrupted and choosing the good of the other person over what you think is best for you in the moment. Being so aware of how you respond in that moment and choosing the selfless act. Choosing to represent not just you, but the people around you, your family, your friends, your God, everyone, the best that you can. Choose to be an ambassador for the ones you love. And that means responding in the best, most selfless way possible. Your things will get done. You don't have to worry about your workout not being finished. And if it isn't finished, there's more time later to do it. If it ruins an entire day, then guess what? You're not gonna die. So everything is figure outable. Everyone is interruptible, but how you respond to these things is what really defines who you are and what you represent. Are you representing those things well? All right, that's it for this week. I hope it was not only encouraging, I also hope it was convicting on a certain level, because this is real talk. And if we don't talk about real things, nothing is gonna change, and the change starts here. The change starts with you. So let's get out there, let's cause fitness, and let's talk about real things that matter. And let's love on people this week and represent each other well. I'll see you next time. Bye. L'amour est sans vue. Love is blind, huh? Maybe, but isn't true love love that isn't blind, love that sees and loves anyway? Think about it. If you watched all the way to the end of this video, give me a thumbs up in the comments below. And if you don't have emojis, you can just write thumbs up. You just type it out. Thumbs up in the comments below. And I'll see you guys next week.
What's up, girl? Told you to get a cameo.